Stuart, I have a question. Uh,
Yes.
it's Wendy. I've been having this mild anxiety that I can't find the source of for a few weeks already. Kind of like this low grade mild anxiety, and I don't know if it's a from a psychic thing or it doesn't feel like it's from something in my life. I don't know what it is.
Look, the chances are, look, I can't tell you exactly, Wendy, but the chances are very good. It's something you repressed inside you many, many, many years ago. And it's coming up. And your job is to get stronger than it. It's to continue to use it as a reminder. For people, please stop moving. I mean, it's really important. You move, it really disrupts the energy. So please, just sit still. It's another 10 minutes. You don't have to fix your hair, you're this, you're that, or whatever. Just sit still, please. Uh, if people are not focused and if they're not disciplined inside, the whole class gets chaotic. And that's just one person who's moving, fidgeting. It's no good. There has to be that discipline. And it's another 5 or 10 minutes and try to do it. Anyway, Wendy, it strikes me what this is something that you've been living with most of your life. It's been buried, it's been repressed, and you're really exhuming it. You're digging in a tomb that you created, God knows, maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago in yourself, and it's coming up. And it is telling you, hey, I am here to teach you how to get stronger than me and what I am doing inside you. You have to do the work to get more grounded, deeper, build a stronger chakra system. And whatever that anxiety is, it's going to go away. You will be able to consume it, to transform it into Shakti, into energy, that will help you to grow instead of being anxiety. So, I mean, if you use it that way, what does it matter what it is or what it was? What matters is that you can transform it into chi, into an inner force that gets you much stronger and more open to a higher energy in the universe. And to me, what you described is not a negative thing. It's just a reminder that you've got to go to the next step in your life. And are you willing to go to that next step in your life? Then you got to do the work on yourself to get you there. And I think that has to do with all depression and anxiety and these kind of weaknesses that exist inside people. As you build a chakra system, these weaknesses begin to disappear. We're never going to be perfect. There's always going to be something that's going to bother us. Always. I mean, human beings cannot be perfect. They will never be perfect. But in that lack of perfection is the reminder you've got to continue to grow. So that's the extra ingredient in the soup that makes people work on themselves. And I hate to say it, we need that ingredient because people do nothing about themselves. They really do. I mean, they live in kind of womb-like circumstances where, they've leveled off in life. Meanwhile, festering beneath all of that is repressed tension and energy and we try to kind of sandpaper it down and make believe it doesn't exist, and it keeps biting us in the ass, reminding us we have to grow, we have to do something to build ourselves inside. So it really doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you get strong enough inside where you can transform it into an energy force that really gives you life. and it'll go away until the next one comes and the next one. And but you have precedence and you understand what to do about these situations and you don't let them get the best of you. I mean, is it clear what I'm saying? I hope so,
Yes, thank you, Stuart.
because you can try to figure these things out. You'd be 99 years old and you're going to still make yourself crazy, but you can get rid of them by, okay, it's telling me I got to get stronger. What difference does it make? I have to get stronger. Mm. And that's one of the most extraordinary things about doing spiritual work. You're never arrived. You're always evolving closer to that state of perfection. And in that evolution, that's where knowledge comes, wisdom comes, precedence comes, the ability to maintain quiet inside yourself comes. It's just a teaching force that we almost need because human beings are, I mean, they're like cows at pasture. The least they can be bothered by life, the better. And yet we need to be bothered. I hate to say it, and I know most of you might run away, but we need to be bothered or we do nothing about ourselves. That's why God is perfect and the rest of us are endlessly striving towards that perfection. And that's the process of becoming spiritually enlightened. Knowledge, wisdom, growth, inner calm, quiet. We build it inside ourselves. Mm. We don't say, well, why am I not there? We're not there. We'll never be there. But we can continue to build ourselves and accumulate. And we get knowledge. We get the ability to discern between illusion and reality, to make choices in life. All of it comes as we build ourselves. And it really turns people from really kind of mediocre beings into remarkable human beings. And I think every person deserves that, to become a remarkable human being. But they have to be willing to work on themselves in order to attain it. And all of those things wrong are a reminder that you need to do the work. Mm. I hope it's clear not only to Wendy, but to myself and to all of you. I need to be reminded of this also. And I've been doing this for a very long time. To me, the most scariest thing in the world is just leveling off, living some kind of just mediocre life because, there's a white picket fence around me that nobody's going to really bother me. Does anyone else have a question? And what I talked about today is a difficult thing to accept. Because there's always a part of us that says, enough already. But then there's always another part of us that keeps kicking us in the ass. Bro, don't accept anything as the end of your growth process. Because if you accept it as the end, it becomes literally the end of your life. God is perfect. I've met people who have told me they were God, but I certainly saw that being one of their big imperfections. Does anyone else have a question? Hmm. I hope you know what I'm talking about is clear. I'm not trying to take out a whip and I'm just trying to come down to some basic truths about things that exist for us, all of us as human beings. And we shouldn't complain about them. We should almost be grateful for them because they are the reminder. The things that are wrong with us are the reminder that we have to grow. Mm. And we're given these things by a higher force to remind us we haven't arrived yet. So be grateful for them and don't complain about them. I remember I once complained to Rudy. I've told this story a billion times, even in my book. You know, I used to go home at night to his house and I had no place to sleep. I would have to find a place to sleep. And I remember walking down the street, Fourth Avenue in Manhattan with him, and I said to him, Rudy, you know, I don't have anywhere to sleep in your house. And he just looked at a blade of grass growing in the crack in a New York City sideway street and said, that blade of grass has more courage than you do. I never complained to him again. Imagine having the courage to have a life in a crack in a with 4,000 people stepping on you and walking past you every day and struggling to have your life. You know, no, never forget that. But a month later, he came up to me and said, Stuart, look, every time I go away to, teach or India or wherever he used to go, he said, I want you to stay in my apartment. You know, and I didn't even ask for this. He just came up and told me that. And he gave me the key to his apartment where I could stay when he was out of town. So, it's how life works. But I also learned, don't complain, Stuart. The blade of grass has more guts than you. You're really in bad shape. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, there'll be a meditation this evening and Pat Fay will teach. And there'll be meditation tomorrow evening and Tuesday, during the day. God bless you all. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.